Hello everyone, welcome to City Line. I'm Karen Holmes Ward. Political minds will for years to come analyze and try to adopt President Barack Obama's campaign techniques and know-how. But President Obama has lessons for business people as well as politicos. Barry Liebert is chairman of Burlington-based Mazinga. Mazinga builds social networks for companies such as ABC Network, Amazon.com, and Ford Motor Company, among many others. Liebert has published 3 books about social networks. His 4th is called Barack Incorporated, Winning Business Lessons of the Obama Campaign. Welcome.
Thanks for having me this morning.
Oh my goodness, so much to talk about. First, Barry, start by telling us what kinds of things President Obama did in his campaign that you think are applicable to the business world.
I think there are 3 pillars that every business leader in every organization can learn from. One is how to be very cool under pressure. 2 is how to be social in a world that's highly connected. And 3 is how to become the change that others want to see in you as opposed to demanding changes of others that you don't want to be.
Now, it seems now, President Obama in the Oval Office, certainly people underestimated his ability to get to that position when he first began. Talk a little bit about how he employed these techniques to get to where he is today.
Well, I think he's one of the first presidents to understand that essentially business and government is very personal. When you fire someone, that's personal. When you sell them a bad product or service, that's personal. When you build your brand, it's personal. So he made the campaign very personal by using social technologies, Facebook, YouTube, MySpace, and his own community called My Barack Obama to reach out to people individually, 13 million of them, and to create personal connections to make sure he won in an internet age.
And certainly John McCain and Hillary Clinton caught on eventually. But not soon enough.
Yes, that's correct. John McCain, I think, went onto Twitter yesterday, a little bit late, when already that Barack Obama has 144,000 Twitter partners. And Twitter is an online social media asset that allows you to stay connected with people. So a little bit late to be part of this internet age.
You also talked a little bit about, a lot about his leadership style in terms of how he leads the United States as a corporation and how CEOs of private companies can adopt that same style for success.
Correct. So if you think about Barack Inc. or think about the USA as an economy or company, he's got a $3.1 trillion budget. It's a pretty big company. He's got about 3 million people working for him across all his organizations. And he's got to basically do 3 things. He's got to build the brand, the USA brand, around the world as a place that people want to be part of. 2, he's got to empower those people. And 3, he's got to get them to change, as you and I were talking about, to make sure things go in the right direction to get us out of this financial morass. I think leaders can understand and learn from the way he's using technology and his own personal style of leadership to win in this environment.
So the point is, even if he goes back in the Oval Office and pops 5 or 6 aspirins with a huge headache when he's out front, he has to be cool, calm, and collected.
He has to be, because as I always say, people like theme rides and they like joy rides, but it's in theme parks. They don't like it from their leaders, especially during difficult times. And so he's maintaining his cool, and he's a very humble guy to boot. And I think people understand the power of humility and humanity when it comes to their leaders.
Well, it's one thing to campaign, yet another to win, but it's an entirely different ballgame when it comes to governing on Capitol Hill. And we see just recently President Obama's stimulus package passed the House, but it was clearly on partisan lines. What does President Obama, in your estimation, have to do now in order to move his vision of change forward on both sides of the aisle?
Well, I think he has to do the same thing that any good leader would do in the beginning, is go slowly, which is he's got to get the other people, which is the Republicans, to accept the fact, like it or not, he is their president today, and they're going to have to go with the flow a little bit. It's a little disappointing that not a single Republican voted for him. And so I think at the beginning he's got to maintain his coolness, he's got to be humble again and show his humility in the journey. But I think if they don't come along with the fact that 80% of people basically have given him support, which is the popular vote now in terms of popularity, I think he can use his social network to hold them accountable and to say, hey, listen, gentlemen and ladies, I hate to tell you, but there are people in your district that you better make sure that you vote their way, because you're supposed to be for the people, by the people, not for yourself in this government.
And during the campaign, I received regular emails from the candidate's campaign. Yeah. You know, go to the website, do this. I went to the inauguration and received emails about everything from traffic to, watch ABC coverage of the neighborhood ball. So he has how many people in his email network?
13 million and growing still in his community, which is online community. He has a large nation. And I think he can really tap into it because he basically knows where they live in a zip code. He knows their names. And this is what's so exciting about today's socially connected world, whether it's Facebook, MySpace, or his own private community. He knows where those people live and can use them to move the vote of people who continue to want to dissent, which is the Republicans right now. And that's a very cool time when socially connections help motivate people to do what they're supposed to do, which is be held accountable.
Now, how do you see that translating long-term into the way politics is done in this country?
Well, I think it's very thrilling times. I think we've lost our way in the United States, which is I think we're supposed to be government by the people, for the people. I think we've increasingly government by the government, for the government, and for its leaders. And that's the same thing for business. We're business by the leaders, for the leaders. And you see that with people like Rick Wagner from General Motors coming into Washington, D.C., asking for a $15 billion bailout, but still flying in his private jet and demanding his $25 million salary. The good news is social connections and social technologies creates transparency and connections that allows people who use it to stay connected and use it to run their country or company in a fundamentally better way than we did before, which is held in an accountable and basically responsible way.
And we've talked a lot about CEOs of Fortune 500 companies and their leadership style in terms of turning around this economic mess. What advice can be drawn from your book for small businesses, which really fuel a lot of our economy?
Well, the good news for them is social technologies, these online discussion forums and blogs and wikis and ratings and reviews can be used by anybody to essentially create what I'll call as volunteerism, like you're seeing way Barack did, which is you have customers who want to work and do business with you. I don't care if you're a car dealer or a small medical practice or small manufacturer. You can get customers to work with you the way Barack did to support your brand, get them to donate money. Remember, he raised $650 million using his community, raise money, contribute to your success, give you support. And so I think any smaller business or big business leader can use these social technologies the way Barack did to run their business and effectuate the same sort of change that you really need to have in today's difficult economy.
And of course, you're on the cutting edge of all of this internet cyberspace stuff. What new thing do you see coming down the road that the rest of us may not know about yet?
Well, I look back in my history, we've been doing this since 2001. We had probably 2 customers and 2 users back in 2001. And we serve big enterprises like ABC. We now have about 14 million registered users, about 50 million active users, and 14,000 communities. So I think all businesses are being able to use it. And what I see coming next is mobile, which is right now, most of this is text-based, as you know. Even if you're using your cell phone, it's mobile and video coming next. Because as companies begin to realize they can connect with their customers, employees, and partners this way, these people will find new ways to connect with the enterprise or the government. And the way basically Barack did with Obama Girl, there'll be new ways of connecting using video and mobile.
So think about content on your mobile phone and other mobile devices.
Absolutely. Video,
etc. I know ABC is moving towards that very rapidly. Barry Liebert, thank you very much. It's fascinating to talk about this with you.
Thanks for having me today.
Okay. Now, to find out more about the book, check out the website, barackinc.com.